Welcome, everybody, back to the NFC North Roundtable. Today, we're here with our late week show, and today we have a bold prediction for each NFC North team. But as always, before we get to that, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsor for today's video, and that is BetUS, man. Over here on BetUS, using code YouTube150. As always, get that 150% deposit match up to $2,000, 125% next two deposits. Up to $2,000 as your sign-up bonus. So check out BetUS if you're looking for a sports book. They do have the futures bets for AFC and NFC conference winners. During the week, we did NFC. Let's talk about AFC right now because Baltimore is on the same line with Kansas City. They're both at 325. And then Cincinnati. This is probably the weirdest one. I mean, there's clearly a gap. They put three teams and they separated it. But Cincinnati's at number 4. When y'all are seeing this, is there a team that maybe is getting a little bit underrated, like Miami? Miami? No?
I think it is Cincy. I think
What
it
do
is
you
Cincy.
think?
I feel like there's a lot of talent on that team, and there's a lot of games that just didn't go their way. And it seems like Burrow's trying to renegotiate his contract to keep everyone at home. I know Pratt just requested for a trade today, but I feel like with those odds, a plus 900, like you said, the big gap there, I feel like they're right up there, in my opinion, for 2025, 2026.
Hey, shout out to Denver, plus 2,000. The Chargers are sneaking in there.
I would do
take
Denver.
John on the Chargers.
Denver's not a bad one, yeah.
I'd put money on Denver. That's my choice right there. What's up, BetUS? Get out of here.
They're on my neck, man. They're always on my neck.
Yeah, Denver would be and also them having all the cap they have. Watch out for Denver's big offseason too.
I like that. Yeah, I think I'll go Chargers. I mean, one bar. Is there a team that you think stands out here for you? Houston?
I don't know. I think the Texans are going to bounce back next year. The Texans, Bills still. I mean, even though they're plus 375, Texans and Bills.
This is disappointing for the Titans. Titans also may not take a quarterback this year.
Gee, look at that.
Good
Lord. Why even put them on the list? Just keep them off.
Well, sneaky Patriots.
If we could do someone for like the worst team to go after, I'd do the Jags, man. Like they're just a hot mess already. Anyway, but yeah.
And they got their guy now. They got their guy.
Bad teams. I'm going Patriots, bro. Drake May is going nuclear.
You know what? I like that, Baz. I like what you're saying there. I'd be disappointed to be below the Browns.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah.
Like that's there. You really can't get any lower than that. At that point, everybody's fired, dog. I don't care if I just hired you. I see those odds. It's a wrap. We're below the Browns. Okay. So with that, let's get right into this, man. We'll get into our bold offseason predictions. And Bass has got a good one. He's been telling me all week about it. So Bass, let people know, what is it?
Don't want to upset you, but yeah, I think the Packers will make a big name trade. I think they're going to go out and get a star edge rusher. It's a bold prediction for a reason, because most Packers fans are going to sit here and go, yeah, okay, like that's not going to happen. And you're 100% right. Probably not going to happen, but that's why it's a bold prediction. And the list I have here is obviously Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and even someone like Micah Parsons. I think all are kind of in similar situations. Well, at least Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, where you got to trade intense draft capital, then also sign him to a probably highest paid defender in the league type contract. So, but I think for both of those players, the Packers are one of those players away from being a massive, massive competitor, and their defense already got a lot better in 2024. And I think if you add someone like Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons to that team opposite Rashawn Gary, I think the new age of defense, we saw it in the Super Bowl, is send 4, drop 7, and get home with your 4. The Packers were actually the second least blitzing team in the NFL last season. They sent 4 a lot, just happened to not get home a lot with their 4 in games that they lost. So if they go and get a guy like Micah Parsons or Myles Garrett or Max Crosby, I love that for our defense, obviously. Now, Max, we talked about earlier this week, little bit of speculation of him being traded, but it's, he says he wants to be a Raider for life. I think the Raiders have a lot of salary cap as well. So it's one of those ones. It's like, can you see it happening? Myles Garrett obviously requested a trade. Who knows with Micah Parsons there in Dallas, but all would be, capable. Like the Packers could do it. Right. The Packers definitely could do it. They have all their draft picks this year. They have $44 million in cap space. They're in a position right now where Brian Gutekunst said they need to have more urgency. So my bold prediction is they go out and they get a superstar edge rusher via trade this offseason.
I really don't want to see Parsons there. Dallas is going to be crazy for trading him. I feel like, I mean, when he came back that deep, they were like kind of good. It was like, wait, Dallas is kind of good again. It would be insane. So I hope not. One bar. What's your bold prediction?
All right, so bold prediction. Kwesi, since he's been our GM, he likes to be a little conservative on his moves and see if they pan out. You see the Andrew Van Ginkels, he throws him $7 million and he goes out and gets whatever, 11, 12 sacks. The Gernard's even a little bit underpaid. Like he just kind of, he's very conservative, and he's got a very special type of players he looks at free agency. But I think he just blows that out the window. We finally have some money to spend. He's been clearing up space for years, getting rid of some of these contracts to finally actually take a big leap. And I think he does it. And I think he goes all in on the offensive line this offseason. Interior, he opens up the checkbook and says, screw it. JJ McCarthy's coming here. Our run game was not overly great, even with Aaron Jones had a good season, but it could have been way, way better. So he's going to say, screw it. I'm going all in on my guards. Unfortunately, Garrett Bradbury, probably one more year, but we're going to get Trey Smith. I don't know if Nick's heart just broke or not, but we're getting Trey Smith. And not only that, he's going to double dip. He's going to get another one of these top 10 guards out there, whether it's a Kevin Zeitler, Mekhi Becton. And I know these are going to be very, very expensive contracts, but I think he's going to let the defense lie a little bit and just go all in on that interior offensive line. And he's big on Blake Brandel. He's big on, Ed Ingram was playing way too much, and he's going to say, screw it. And most of our cap space is going right to those two starting guards.
That's interesting. Do you think that's the right approach if they did that, like to put a lot of money at guard?
The last time the Vikings were making or actually competitive into the playoffs, we had guys like Steve Hutchinson. We had guys like Randall McDaniel. Like, we have not had those guards. Every time we're there, it's just like, who are these guys? What are they doing there? So hell yeah, I'm all for it. Like, in a perfect world, if it was me, go get that one big shiny toy and then take one of those guys in the mid-range and see if they pan out. But if they went out and blew their load on two big guards, 100% all in, baby. All in.
All right, man. Nick, what's your bold prediction for the Bears?
Bears have the same type of plan. They're going to spend all their money on both sides of the trenches. They're going to maybe a Milton Williams, maybe Josh Sweat, along those lines. But if the Bears go out, what I want to see the Bears do is I would like to see them spend on Drew Dahlman as our next center from Atlanta, because the Bears obviously need that, especially after the season that Coleman Shelton had. And then right there, that addresses your center, and you already have your right tackle in it, Darnell Wright. At the guards, I would like to see the Bears potentially still go out and get a left tackle. I talked about it earlier this week, but Alaric Jackson, and move Braxton Jones to left guard, because Jones is just a quicker. He's not a tackle. Like, he's one of the better tackles according to PFF, but if you watch him, he'd flourish better at guard. And that's what they did with Tevin Jenkins later in his career, before he left Chicago, or he's definitely leaving Chicago. He's not coming back unless he takes like a super cheap contract. So, in my personal opinion, I think what the Bears are going to do is they're going to take Drew Dahlman. They're going to pay him big money to bring him in from Atlanta. Then they're going to go out and get a guy like Alaric Jackson at left tackle. They're going to move Braxton Jones to left guard. And then at right guard, I don't think that Ryan Poles is going to overly spend on his guards. He got burned one time doing that with Nate Davis. I think that Mekhi Becton is a cheaper but still effective option in order to go out and improve. And then you have a unit right there that is solidified, has three established guys that have played in the NFL for a while. Darnell Wright also, without having an offensive line coach, without having any help, was still one of the top 10 right tackles in the NFL this past year. So you have that on your offensive line. And then you spend your money on Josh Sweat. That gives you the opportunity then, in order to go out and get a top, maybe a Mason Graham at number 10 out of Michigan if he's available, which addresses your defensive tackle situation. Andrew Billings is on the last year of his contract. Then you had Josh Sweat, who you brought in, address your defensive edge. And then with those 2 seconds in that third, the Bears can get key depth pieces, rotation guys that are part of this team for the longer future. So I think the Bears are going to go all in on the trenches. They're not going to go out and get anybody else. They'll draft running back later in the draft. They'll go out and get whoever, but they'll do that. And then another bold prediction is that Keenan Allen, I know we talked about him earlier this week, my big bone friend. He was saying on a podcast earlier this offseason that he will only go to LA or Chicago. And I think that if it came down to it, his family moved here. They're part of the Chicagoland area. They're in this, he's got kids that are already, in the school system. I think what's going to happen is that Keenan Allen will be willing to take a less salary, higher incentive contract. What those incentives will be, probably very low. But I can see the Bears bringing back Keenan Allen.
Nick, I'm going to be honest. I was hoping for something running back. Like because I never even thought about it. Like Swift and then Ben, and we traded him away. But, he might be a bigger fan of Swift. He was good here. But I just wondered if, you're going to be like, yo, first round, we're about to go grab a running back because we did that. The Lions did it with Gibbs. We're going to shock the world. We are going to try to get Genty, and we're trying to get that dog in the back. I don't know. I just thought something crazy like that was going to happen. But, Nick, you don't sound like you're on board with that.
I don't see, like, Poles spent all that money on Swift. Like, he's not, and he's going to prefer, in order for your running back room to be effective, you need offensive linemen. And Poles knows, and Ben Johnson knows too, how important that is. So the Bears only having $63 million in cap. When I say only, like, and that's with the cap adjustment. They're going to have to cut some guys in order to make some room in order to even consider that. But I think everything that depends on what they do in free agency is going to impact the draft. If they address everything in the trenches through free agency, which I do hope they do, to a degree, just so the draft is a lot easier on them, I don't see them going out and using the number 10 on Genty. But if they do it and Genty's there at 10, yeah, you got to grab him. Like, you have to. It's a super effective player. I just don't see that happening at the moment. Bears have bigger needs.
Okay, I like the jacket too. By the way, I just noticed it looks good.
It's fresh.
Yeah, it's a good jacket. I got
Hey,
I'm not wearing anything.
Hey, it's what we do around here.
This is a failed today. All right, I'm gonna give a two-parter too, but it's gonna be quick. My two-parter is this. First off, Lions are gonna trade up again in the draft. All right, this hit me. I think most fans are always thinking when you pick towards the back end of the first round, hey, trade back, get out of the first round, get some picks, that kind of thing. And since we've been so aggressive, people are probably definitely thinking after the Za'Darius trade, yeah, we're going to add some more picks. No, Lions are going to be aggressive just like they were last year. They're going to trade up a few spots. They're going to go grab – I don't know who they're going to grab. I think they're going to go pass rusher. But they're going to go trade up and make a move. I think they'll go with like a little bit of a hybrid pass rusher linebacker. I think a guy out of Georgia might be calling our name this year. So that's going to be my first part. Or the second part to hit free agency, I think we're gonna back up the money and hand it off to Carlton Davis. I think the Lions are going to make a big re-signing. I think Carlton's expected to leave. I think a lot of teams are aiming for him. I think the Lions are going to pay him a lot of money this offseason, and that may mean that a guy like Levi's on his way out and or Ife Melifonwu's on his way out. But I think they'll make sure that Carlton Davis is not on his way out this offseason as long as he wants to be back. I think he means that much to who they want to be with all that man coverage. You got to have a guy that can handle it at number one, and it looks like they finally got that guy. Also, I mean, one bar fullback is still a thing. I think we're bringing a fullback back this year, dude. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm thinking, yeah, one bar. We might have to go get Ham. Like, we had a fullback and then we kind of didn't. Our linebacker became our fullback. I think fullback's back in session for the Lions, man. I think it's happening again.
The death of fullback in the NFL is a travesty. I still got my John Kuhn right there. I got John Kuhn jerseys. And the John Kuhn the John Kuhn fathead right there. I remember after John Kuhn, we got. Of course I do. I was like really young when I got that one, but that was when his fullback was, front and center of the NFL. And you're like, I love this guy, right? Even after him, we had Aaron Ripkowski. I hate that he fumbled in that one playoff game, but regardless, fullback's got to be back. Fullback's got to be back.
Yeah, I'll embrace it when it comes back league wide. And Dion, was it Corey Schlesinger? Who was the dude at the Lions? Yeah. Did I make him
Corey,
up?
Yeah. All right. No, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah. I mean, I didn't see him play, but I've seen him at training camp. Seen him walking around. They tell me he played fullback.
That's how old I am, man.
People love him, man. Though people love him. They love the fullback. Cannot love a fullback. I think it's coming back. So those are our bold predictions for this offseason. We'll keep it rolling. We got free agency in like a month now. I think officially about a month. Free agency
March 12th, baby.
It's coming. It's coming up, man. So stay tuned for all of the discussion as we work our way through it and we get to some of the mock drafts, which is going to be fun. But until then, we'll see y'all next week. I think that's the plan. Bass, you got any final words before we're out here?
No.
I shouldn't have did this, but I already started. One bar, you got anything? We already started now.
Absolutely not. Table. I'm staying in the theme. I'm not putting Baz on. I got it. No, 0 words.
Nick, you got something?
Aaron Rodgers to the Vikings.
There you go.
Oh, great. Nick's drunk.
That's how we're gonna have that.
You guys don't know what's in this mug.
We don't.
All right, y'all. We're out here.
This video is powered by BetUS. Use promo code YouTube150 to get your 150% sign-up bonus. Start playing today with an exclusive offer. Shout out to BetUS for being the proud sponsor of Roundtable Sports.